Many people were having expectations for me, Holger, Jannik, and Carlos, and that we were like the big three. So we had a lot of pressure since the beginning. They managed better than me, the pressure. I would say my younger self tried not to listen to everything that you hear, because not everything is true. The beginning of the year was probably one of my worst period of my life as a tennis player, because
Hello Insiders, it's Carol Garcia. Before we start, one quick thing. If you enjoy this conversation, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to help us grow and keep bringing you the players and coaches you love. Thank you so much.
Lorenzo, thank you so much for being with us today. The first question is, how did you start with tennis?
I started when I was 4. My father was, still is now even more, always been an amateur of tennis, of this sport. And he was playing just for fun, as many people was doing in Italy. And at the age of 4, he bought me my first like mini racket. And I started to play, started to hit a few balls with him in my grandmother house has like sort of basement under, and after that I did all the process, to kids, and then I was pretty good for my age since being young, and I started to play with the older guys, playing not just once but 2, 3. I think you probably did the same, and after that it became work, even if I don't like to call it work. Because sometimes it's work, I would say, but it's more a passion for me, tennis.
And you went to normal school, or you left school very early?
So I went to normal school since I don't know if in French probably is kind of different, the school, but in Italy you do from 3 years. No, you do like the infant school. Then you do we call media, so it's like a sort of not graduation, the one before
secondary, no?
Secondary, like
Spain,
secondary.
I think,
And then it's 3 years of that, so 5, 8, and then I did the first one of like high school. And then from the second year, I've with the federation, in the national center, I started to collaborate with them. They had like a sort of private school, and I've done like I finished my school there. It was like sort of a private one. When I played for the first time in 2021, so my first Roland Garros. I was the week after I was having the exams for the school.
Nice.
So yeah, but I always had a good relationship with the studying with school, because my mom was pretty strict.
Nice. Was it easy for you, the transition from playing just for fun to start like playing juniors and then the professional tour?
It was kind of, let's say, my dream since I was a child. So I would say definitely yes. Of course, when you are a kid, you have more. It's everything new. Everything is the first time. So you enjoy doing everything, and everything seems awesome. And of course, when you're getting older and you repeat every year kind of the same calendar and schedule, then it starts, the tough of this life, because it's of course people may see just the wins, the success, but there's a lot of ups and downs throughout all my career. So definitely I enjoyed, and I have no regrets on what I've done in the past, and I will always choose my, let's say, my life, my passion for tennis.
That's not a bad one.
No. And I'm pretty sure like the first time you played Rome, I remember you played good, no? The first time you played Rome.
Yeah, so I played the first time that I played Rome, I played the pre-quali. So the tournament that was giving wild cards and that year they were giving wild card also to the main draw, who Jannik beat me in the semis. I had match point. And he won, I remember, with the Steve Johnson first round. and I lost to Casper Ruud. I got the wild card in qualis. I lost to Casper, so bad draw in the quali. And then the year after, I had the ranking to enter with my ranking in the qualis, and they didn't give me wild card for the main draw. So I won 3 rounds of qualis, and then I won my first match against Wawrinka.
Nice.
I was pretty, let's say, the match that changed a little bit my let's say experience with tennis. It was my first win in the ATP Tour, because it was my first tournament.
I mean, doing it in Italy against a Grand Slam winner is not bad.
But the thing is that I enjoyed a lot, but it was the COVID year, so there was no crowd. So it was just team and Stan's team. And then the second round, I beat Nishikori, who was like top 20, I think.
Right.
And then I lost in the third round with the Kofer that was playing pretty well that year. But yeah, it was, let's say, my first big tournament, big appearance in a tournament.
After that, you feel that everything changes, like from your own expectations and also maybe from Italy, because I guess you were like pretty unknown, no? But before that,
yes, and especially as you mentioned, being young and being unknown on the tour, then you have all the lights under you. So
you have to win a Grand Slam next week.
No, it's, I've seen, like, for example, in the last years with the Fonseca, for example, no?
Yeah.
He's playing great, and he's having tremendous year already. But the media and this kind of life, when you get a fast results, you have all the lights and all the pressure, and I don't think they understand that you are still like in a position where you don't know where to be, and especially when you are like 18 or 19, you have to be really, really strong not to listen from too many people. And what I always said in my interviews, and what really I think I took as an advice from other players, to surround yourself with really the people that cares about you, not with the people that they do because they have to do. I always try to create a family that was surrounding me, because that's the only way, to live all the year together. And if not, of course, there are up and down also on that. But especially on the downs, I need to, be carried by the team, So that's my tip for the young guns that they're coming out.
You've been following because you had the same coach since you were a kid, no?
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
I've been with Simone since I was 9. So now I'm 23. So
like a second dad almost.
Yeah,
no?
exactly. I think I spend more nights with him than with my parents, honestly.
He must be ashamed.
No, yeah, but I think, of course, it's our strength also. I would say, having a strong relationship. But sometimes, it can be that sometimes it's even tough to listen. Maybe if it's also like if he's saying like the right thing, but sometimes you don't accept that he's telling you, the right thing, no? So we made all the step together, because he was not a coach before. He was a teacher, like in a club. So we also like grow together. He brought me from, let's say, living on a childhood dream, and also for him, I would say, to top 10 or whatever. I mean, it's not finished yet, but of course to got many of the goals that we let's say dream about it. And I think that Simone has he really knows how to take me in every situation, and that's the main thing that I really like about him, not just on the court. And of course, as You probably know with the coach, you have days that you
There's
not
days,
give it.
there's days you don't want to listen to him. It's like
Of course.
everything he said today is wrong. I mean,
No. But I think to everyone happens.
Yes.
It cannot always be, right. And you can agree, I think, on something, because I think also you need to discuss on certain
Yeah.
points.
Of course.
And you need also to have this kind of conversation between, a relationship between coach and player.
Mhm.
Because if it becomes like too much, let's say, friendly on the court, then for me, has to be like some space which is professional.
Yeah.
If not, becomes more too much friendly, and you don't feel like, I don't know, the adrenaline and the ambition, that you need to have on the court. And sometimes I was struggling on that, and that's what I think I will have to do more in the future.
Nice.
And also, obviously in Italy, like in the recent years, the tennis has been like result was crazy, either in the men's and women's, but especially in the men's. Um, what is your point of view on that? Like, do you guys like push each other to just get better and better? Also, you looks like quite friendly between you. So
No, yeah, definitely. I think we lived a period where the women's, they were leading the tennis
Yeah.
in Italy. Like, for example, Flavia, Francesca, Roberta, Sara. They won many Fed Cups. They won slams. And in the ATP, we were struggling to that level. I mean,
Fabio was there, but it was a bit lonely.
Fabio was there, and also Seppi, Bolelli, but there was no consistency in terms of players. Now we are almost 10 top 100 players. That for Italy, that is not like United States as a population. Something really unbelievable, I know, for tennis. And I think the federation has been doing a great work on investing, not just on the players, but for me also in the scheduling all type of tournaments possible for the young generations. And because in Italy now we have Future, we have Challengers, we have ATP, and we have Finals, Davis Cup. So a lot of things we have. And of course, it's part of the success that also the players brought to the federation. But I think also, for example, in personally speaking, the federation always helped me, especially with the, like, for example, when the fitness coach, since I was like, 15. So they were helping me in a way, trying to, give me money for, because of course, when you are a junior, you don't earn much, and, living this life also when you're juniors, and, you don't receive any prize money when you play in junior. So you just earn like some money from, I was with Nike since I was 12. And they were, let's say, the money that saved a little bit my parents, because my parents couldn't, support my travel around all the year.
Expensive sport, yeah.
No, definitely. And my family could not afford everything. And that was probably lucky for me that I was good enough, to have a good sponsor that was covering, all the expenses and all the sacrifice that also my parents had to do it, because you have no guarantee at 14, even if you're number one in the world, or I was number one in the world when I was 17, but how many
never made it?
Yes.
So when you are in top 100, for me was, I remember pretty clear when I stepped in the top 100. Finally, I said to my parents, I in a way I kind of made it, because I think the first goal for a tennis player is, to reach the top 100. I don't know if for you was.
Yeah, it was the same. I think it's like the very first step where you felt like, okay, if I top 100, I'm like a professional tennis player.
Yes.
You're probably not going to make like millions out of it with all the expenses, but like You can win a little bit and you're playing the slams and you're there. It's like you're a pro player.
No, yeah, and especially when I was playing and I was pretty close the year before. So at the end of the 2020, when I was 18, I closed the year like 130, something like that.
Yes.
But I didn't play for half of the year because of the COVID.
Yeah.
So I said, "Fuck, I can be top 100 because of COVID." And there was sort of, I don't know. At the beginning of the year, I was not playing good. I was not having great feelings, and was putting too much pressure on myself on trying to break through the top 100. And then I took 1 week off, and then I went to Acapulco playing 500, which was three rounds of qualis and then incredible draw. And that week I made from quali. I made semis, beating like Schwarzman was top 10, Tiafoe and Dimitrov.
Nice.
And the win with Dimitrov in the quarters, and I knew already that winning with Grigor was let me break through the top 100. So I was playing like with the full and for me Acapulco it's a tournament that I have in my heart because of that. And I think it's the very first step of a professional tennis player to break through the top 100.
Nice.
It's very important at the end. But you are very young to make it at 18, 19.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I was not
Even 19.
even 19. Yeah, but yeah.
And then what's next after? Because you said it was like kind of your dream not to make it, or your goal to be top 100.
I mean, of course, there's many steps. But when you are there, I think, especially for me, many people, they were having expectations for me, Holger, Jannik, and Carlos, and that we were like the
next big three.
The next gen.
Yeah, that they were trying to dethrone Medvedev and still the big three, of course. So we had a lot of pressure since the beginning. I think Carlos, Jannik, and Holger in a way, in a year especially, which became like 4, I think. They were managing. They managed better than me for sure. The pressure and the ambitions. I was struggling, to have a consistency throughout all the year, because I always had like really great results. And then many first rounds with people that, they were, I think, in the core a little bit less than me, that I could, with, I don't know, more motivation, more focus, I could beat them, not even, playing that well. And I've lost so many matches throughout my career with that feeling at the end, and that's probably the only regret that I have, and that's what I'm still working today. That's something that when you become top 10, the consistency, I think, in terms of results, not in terms of playing well, because at the end it counts just if you win or lose. That's bad to say, because I really liked, playing well. But at the end, if you play well and you lose, okay, you played well, but at the end you are still the loser of the match. And when you are top 10, I think to maintain the top 10 or even go higher, you have to be incredible consistent in all the year. But sorry, I was going around. But in terms of step, when I entered in the top 100, I think the next step was the top 50 for sure. But it was more a consequence. It was not really that I was just going for the top 50. I honestly, I don't remember at what ranking I closed the year that I break through the top 100. But I remember that I was playing well and in some tournaments. And but after that, the year which made me achieve one of my best rankings was the year after, the 22, which I won Hamburg and Naples and quarters in Paris, in Paris-Bercy. And I was like 2023. I don't remember pretty well. And after that, every year I've done a best ranking. So it
Nice.
was
I
pretty.
mean, at the end, when you're young, what you want is like work on your game style. Like, how do you want, which kind of player you want to be, and find consistent in that.
Yeah, definitely. And for me also, I was feeling that when I step on tour, I had to grow also physically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
mentally, of course. But mentally, I think also the experience, to also the fact that you never done a year completely in the tour
Yeah.
is something that, if you have done it, then you have you know how to approach things in a different way in certain tournaments, especially. So the first years for me, they were like, to try to understand what was feeling better for me in every tournament. And of course, there were tournaments which, I always played well. For example, Paris, French Open, is always the conditions. I don't know, the condition, the people,
It's a good tournament
the
topic.
play. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Not a bad place to peak. Yeah.
But like, for example, Australian Open, which I won in junior, never, gave me something. I really like Australia
Yeah.
and I like the tournament. It's probably one of the best
Yeah.
organizations so far for the players. But I never, let's say, got that results. My best results was this year, which I made like third round. And slam for a top 10, it's something that you have
Yeah.
to work on it. And the same in New York. I've done a final in junior, and I didn't, let's say, mm, enjoy it as much on when I became pro. So hopefully this year.
Yeah, you have many more to play. So
No,
I'm
yeah, of course, of course, hopefully yes, but it's. I think you have to go with that kind of mentality, that ambition, to reach certain results. So definitely working on that and on the consistency. That's the main thing.
And last year, it felt like it was kind of a different switch in your way to play, in your result. Started maybe, I don't know, in Wimbledon, Olympics, and then you kind of keep carry it in this year. What did you feel?
So I was honestly at the beginning of the year. I was probably in one of my worst period of my life as a tennis player, because my Veronica, she was pregnant, and I didn't leave, I think, the pregnancy as a, let's say, not a positive thing, but an happy thing, and I was kind of scared for what was coming. I think was pretty normal also.
Yeah.
But I didn't, let's say, manage well, the emotions before, the arrival of Ludovico. But then after Ludovico was born, he brought extremely joy, and kind of felt, um, live again. And I have to say that Veronica was really, really strong, and also really, I don't know how to say in English, but like really accommodating in my life, especially as on the tennis life. And that was really helpful for me, because when for example, Ludovico was born, I was in the middle of Indian Wells in Miami, and after 5 days I went to play Miami. And after that, I started to play better, to play with more freedom. It's crazy tennis sometimes. And I think also the key for that success, or that switch, was that I had many. I didn't play well, sorry, in Madrid and Rome, and I played the two challengers between.
Okay.
The 175. One was in Cagliari, and the other one was in Turin. I both made finals playing shit, but
Lucky you.
no. But honestly, I was not playing. I was not feeling well. But I needed, matches to find a rhythm. So coming to French Open, I lost with Djokovic in the fifth with a great
Yes.
match. And also the matches before, they were great because I won with Gael in 3 straight sets. In Chartres, nice session is not.
Bravo.
Yeah, because all the crowd was, of course, with Gael, and I was playing great there. And then, after that, I started to feel more confident on the court, behaving better on court, and also, I had a great grass season, which I didn't expect, honestly. But in Stuttgart and Queens, Queens was the confirmed that I could play well on grass. And Wimbledon was kind of surprising, I would say, because I never expected, to make it the first semis of my life in Wimbledon. Honestly,
Because of your game style, or?
because I don't know, grass I always liked, because the grass, I think it's probably one of the funnest surface to play, because I feel that it's really nice for the way I play, and I can really, explore my game. But I always felt that I don't have like I'm not a big server or a big returner, and I always felt that on grass, what you need is like a big serve and big return. Of course, you need, but for me, on grass, now the grass in the modern era,
Yeah.
you can play more from the baseline, and especially with the slice, with all the variation that I have in my game, I was adapting well in those conditions. So for me, it was surprising on that, and then of course Olympics, as you mentioned, was crazy, because I didn't expect, to honestly to bring the medal, because I played the UMAG, which I
Yeah.
had a deal with UMAG to play, and I lost in the final. And the day after, I flew from UMAG to Paris, and I played the same day without like even feeling the chord and stuff. I just played like 10 minutes, and then I entered on court with the Gael.
I do remember talking with Ivan Ljubicic the day before.
I remember.
And Ivan saying, "Oh, perfect, like Lorenzo is in Umag, like get tired, I
Yeah.
do
The
remember that.
final was very late on top of it.
Final was very
Yes.
late. We finished, I think more than midnight.
Yeah.
We took the flight like 6 a.m. in the morning, so no rest, nothing. Just, didn't know, even I didn't have my badge, so I need to go to the badge, and Olympics,
Yeah, it's
was
very, it's more
more
complicated.
complicated. So I slept 2 hours. When I arrived like at 11, I slept 2 hours lunch. Then I went to the club, and I played like the match they were going so fast. So I played like I had to play like at 6, because I was like last on England. And then I played like at 4. So I had like warm up at 3:30 I remember, with Shevchenko, and I played like 10 minutes, and I said I had to go because they are finishing. And then I was such in a confidence, honestly, that I was hitting really well the ball, and I think I won like 6-1, 6-2, something like that. And guy was in the locker room. He was pretty shocked on how the fuck it was possible that I, without hitting, and without trying the core, I was playing that well. And especially I was really tired, and luckily the day after I had just doubles and not singles, because I felt all the tiredness and all the
Yeah.
pain and fatigue
Yeah.
the day after. But I think when you wear the Italian jersey, I mean
Yeah.
your jersey from your country, it gave you a special, special energy, and that was what I was feeling, honest.
So far, your biggest emotion?
The medal, I think so. Even if this year, honestly, entering the top 10 was something that I was really that I really looked for years, because in the last couple of years I was, always pretty close, like 15, 17, and something like that, and there were not too many points. And honestly, I didn't expect that I was reaching the top 10 that fast this year, like in terms of combination, because I've done like final in Monte Carlo, and I was 11. Yeah. And then I was entering. I pulled out from Barcelona,
Yep.
and the only one that could surpass me was Rune. Rune won Barcelona, of course. So I stayed 11, and then I played Madrid. And all the guys that were like, Rublev was losing a lot of points, and Medvedev a little bit also. But we were like 4 or 5 players that we were like, playing for the ninth, eighth position, 10th position, no. And I had to win against Echeverry, Tsitsipas, Deminaur, and the win against Deminaur, because I think Dimitrov also was in the
Yeah.
fight for the top 10. And I think he lost with Diallo, which I played him in the quarters. So the win against Deminaur let me, break through the top 10. But during a tournament, you don't have, I don't know.
You don't celebrate the ranking the same way.
No, yeah, it's kind of okay. Yes, I got it, but it's something that you don't even say it loud,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, when I finished the Madrid and then I went to Rome, as I was like 8, I think, 8 or 9, I started to realize. I started to realize more which was my ranking. Then after Rome, I was like 7 because I'm like semis in Rome, and after Paris, I was 6. So after that, everything was coming fast, and I didn't have much time to realize honestly what I had done in that month. But now I feel great, and honestly I feel that I want to maintain this top 10. I don't want to leave, and that's something that we are really working on it. But as I mentioned before, the consistency is the only key,
Yeah.
that can maintain the top 10 and the ranking, and of course also the level that you need to be in the top 10.
And with your game style that you say was like creativity and you like to like sometimes explore a bit your game style, how is it to kind of find that consistency? Because sometimes on court, I guess you want to play.
Yeah, it's true. Always been a little bit my, let's say, my weakness and my power at the same time, because especially when I was younger, I had so many weapons, so many options that I could choose, that sometimes I was choosing the wrong one. So it's not. I think it's easier when you have like plan A, plan B, but when you have A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
then it becomes more easy to take the wrong decision.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, of course, you are, of course, more lucky to have more plans, more
Yeah.
situations of playing. But sometimes I'm invite people who really knows how to do, and they have to do this, and they stick to it, and they don't have like any thoughts on changing something. But of course you work on it with experience, with the losses. I think the biggest changements of my personality and also on my game style, they are from the match that I lost, especially in a particular way, or something that we analyze also after the match. So hopefully in these months with the great losses, hopefully in New York I can bring more consistency on my game.
Yeah, sure. No doubt. And can you come back a bit on fatherhood for us? You say you bring you life again, kind of.
Yeah.
How, because sometimes tennis player is not easy. We are like very focused on what we have to do, how we have to build our day. And I guess having a newborn, it's very different. Even if you're not alone in that, it's very different. So how did you manage it?
So of course, and especially being father at 22, that's something that honestly we didn't, we didn't try to have a child. Honestly, just came. But I was the one who took, let's say, the decision, because also Veronica was really, as I said before, accommodating on that. And she said, of course, I'm really happy that, to create a family. But of course, it means, we change also our relationship, because it's something, it's not it's not a change, but it's like a step forward.
Of course.
It's even more for me than becoming husband
Yeah,
and
for sure.
wife.
For sure.
I
Yeah.
think it's something that really, connects you forever. And so the decision was mine, but because of course she was understanding if I would have said no, because it was too early especially for the career, for the life that we are doing. But honestly, I felt that Veronica and I, even if we didn't have, let's say, so much time before that in our relationship, because it was 1 year of our relation, but we felt that, we were strictly connected, and it seems like years and years that we were
Yeah.
together, and that we wanted a family. And of course, even if I was 22 and now I'm 23 and expecting the second one,
Nice.
I feel that our lives tends, to grow up you more than your real
Yes.
age.
Yeah.
So I was the one who took the decision. I was, of course, a little bit scared, telling, of course, my parents, because I didn't know how could react.
Yeah.
But they were really, of course, they were scared at the beginning, as we were, because it was something really.
It's a big challenge.
It's a big challenge. Yeah, it's a big challenge, and it's something that you need. It's a daily challenge, because growing and especially educate your son.
Yeah.
It's not easy, and that's probably why I was so scared to to meet him, to you know to leave him in a way. And because of course I had some bad thoughts that I was not ready, that I was not prepared. But then when he born, it just became a little bit natural, I would say. And we always had the support of our parents, me and Veronica. So that's the most important thing. And now, yes, we wanted, to have another one, still boy. We were looking for a daughter, but didn't come.
Well, third one.
Third one, that's what Veronica said, and that's really third one. It's tough, but let's see. We have time.
Nice.
But,
Yes. You're young. You're starting a family young, so you have time for plenty.
If we go like this, then
Me, I have 5 siblings, and my parents started at 29, I think. So
exactly.
you have a lot of time. Do you think like having a kid, first of all, also like a relationship on tour, and then a kid, like having that other thing outside of tennis also helps you like to handle tennis?
Yeah, definitely gave me. I think becoming father, and let's say having a family, having I would say a team, but not a team, like a family that I have to, has the father, has the man to represent and to be responsible for, let's say, everything.
Yeah.
I think I felt the need, to be more responsible also on the court, and that was something that I really needed.
Nice.
To do this step forward, to change from the next gen that started, to doing the first experience with a great talent and stuff, to become, let's say, a man, and that he has his own thoughts, makes his own decisions, and he knows how to deal with all the things that this sport, and not just this sport, give you. So yes, definitely, yes, definitely a lot.
Nice.
I remember, I think this year we watched quite a lot of matches of Monte Carlo.
Ah, yeah.
And there is more and more the mic near the box.
Yeah.
So it was very
Yes.
nice and very cute the way Veronica always cheer on you.
Yeah, she's really, she really loves, to be part of, of my match, even if even if she hates me because she gets like
Yeah, it's a lot of
some
suffering.
yeah, there's a lot of suffering. And I remember also in Wimbledon last year, which I played with the Comezan, I think third round. And it was a crazy match with a lot of up and down. And at the end of the match, she kissed me and she said, "I hate you." But it's okay. And it's okay.
So you suffer from the
yeah,
from the
yeah. I think you can say,
yeah, it's hard. Like especially when we started traveling, you were not having the
No.
easiest time on court.
yeah.
So from the side, it's hard, because like you don't want that the person you love like suffering like for like a fucking sport kind of. So it's hard to like know how to support that person if like pushing them to do more, like hey, like yeah,
No,
so
no,
you
yeah. I think also on that you have to
Mm.
find the right balance.
Yes.
Even how she behave
Mm.
on the box, I think it's really important.
Mhm.
If I don't know, she was like too much, talking or too much,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
that I could see her that she was
Stress or
stressed or she was doing like a bad face or something that
Hmm.
could, brought you like other thoughts.
Yeah.
Then was not helping
no.
her on the box.
Yeah.
But she knows really well the sport and she knows really well myself, so she knows how
Yeah, at the
to
end, that's the
behave.
advantage. No? Sometimes maybe you don't know that much about tennis, but you know how the other person is feeling, no, just by the face they're putting. So maybe with that, you can be a bit more helpful on like, okay, now they need to chill or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. And especially I think that the partner has to do the partner and not the coach.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If not, it creates, I think, it breaks a balance between the relationship
Yeah.
between coaches and
And you're complicating at the end also the most important relationship you can have, no? Like
yeah.
why complicate or already like husband, wife or whatever partners, it's already like full of challenges. Why add one more like to the fire?
No,
like,
no, yeah, definitely. It's already tough,
Yeah.
to be and to have a relationship between partners because of course there's ups and downs also.
Yeah.
It's
That-
same as when parents and kids like being coaches, no?
Of
It's like
course.
what like just get a coach for your kid and be there as a father. Like
Yeah.
I had to say that in that my parents they were really top.
smart.
They were smart and they were smart enough, to knew that they didn't know much
Yeah.
about tennis, about
Yeah.
sport in general. So they just thought that Simone was the right person for me.
Nice.
And whatever Simone said, they were never saying like, "Oh no, Simone says this thing," or said
Well, they chose
other
well on top of that because here you are still with him.
no,
so-
no. Yeah, so I have to thanks. I always say this. I always had to thanks my parents for
Surrounding you with good people. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And because I saw many
Yes.
parents, and I still see in some young guys they surround themselves with parents that they don't want to be parents. They want to be more.
Well, it's
They-
because at the end it's about them. It's their dream, it's their goal.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
want
And
fame. They want.
and I knew a lot of players that they were not playing for themselves, but for their father or
Well, to be
mother.
loved.
Yeah,
Because
of
at the end,
course.
if you win, your dad is happy. You lose, your dad is angry. At the end, it's like how you get love, and then it's just too fucking complicated.
No,
tennis for
yeah,
you.
yeah, totally agree
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, it's a funny like sports is funny because like if you want to be a lawyer and your dad is not a lawyer, like he will never like decide, we'll help you to be a lawyer, no? But then in sports you have all these people, as you said, with no background who decide they know how to make a kid a champion. It's like just get a good coach. Like
No, I think you have to understand in which areas you can operate.
Yeah.
If you know about journalism, then you have to, of course, continue with journalism.
Yeah.
And you can be helpful, I don't know, for the media or stuff.
Yeah.
But not on the court. I mean, you can give tips or advice
Yeah.
in a way of appearance.
Yes,
You know-
emotional support, no?
Exactly. But not on the technical side or
No.
tactical or whatever.
Yeah.
Physical, because
Yeah.
I see trainer. So
They can do it all.
they can do everything.
They're genius.
No, already to be a parent is a tough job, I guess. So
The most important, yeah.
so it's like being a support for
Yeah.
your kid is
Well, we had even Ivan Ljubicic, we had him in the podcast, and he's been like great player, great coach.
Definitely,
If-
yes.
it's hard to be better than him, and he's like, I don't want to coach my kid.
I cannot.
I cannot, and I cannot because I'm not rational. Because you start mixing emotions, so maybe like I'm not seeing the thing as the reality, and maybe it's like, I don't know, he's better. And second, I don't want to be mad with my kid because he misses a fucking forehand.
But see, Ivan is a smart, he's
Yes.
a really smart
Yeah.
person.
Yes.
And only a smart person can say something like that.
Yeah.
And the thing for me is that sometimes parents, which they want to handle everything,
Mm.
they're not really rational, and they do it maybe with the love, with the the interest of the kid,
Yeah.
to succeed, but they don't understand that they are creating a problem.
Yeah.
So what Ivan is saying, I think it's totally agree on that. Especially, I would say the same thing about my son. Honestly,
We will not see you as a coach on tour of your
but
son.
I cannot say now,
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
but
Joking. Yeah.
I think that will be really tough. Like,
Mhm.
for example, I see that they have a great connection. Like, for example, Casper
Yep.
and his father,
Yeah.
and they have a great relationship. I never saw any,
Mhm.
you know,
Ben and Brian.
Well, I think
Yeah, exactly.
when you've done
Exactly.
it, you can be a coach. Now the question is if it's worth it not to like mix everything. Every case is different, I guess.
I mean, I guess everything is different because
Yes.
Ivan said he cannot do it or he
Yes.
doesn't want to do it. So
No, yeah, it's pretty personal. But I think that, for example, my son, if Ludovico would like to be a tennis player,
Mhm.
I totally support him
Yeah.
on that. But if it doesn't want to, start the tennis
Yes.
journey,
It's
I will support him in studying or in doing, I
Mm.
don't know, swimming, or I don't know, football,
Yeah, that's also
football
very
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. They're
think-
free,
I
it's their
think
own
you have to-
decision.
You have to let them choose
Yes.
what they really want and what their passion is.
True.
To discover their passion.
Yeah.
I discovered mine from my father, but it's not that
Mm.
let's say my father forced me to play. No, they
Yes.
just bought me a racket and for fun,
Yeah.
and then it became my passion.
Nice.
you were doing other sport when you were very young.
A little bit of football with friends, because all
Yeah.
in Italy,
Yeah.
and France, I think that's the, let's say, the most common one.
Yeah.
But I never, got any lessons or just with friends. Yeah.
Mhm.
But always, they always told me, my parents, one sport, but with the, let's say, a good,
Yeah.
uh,
Intensity
intensity,
and
and also the,
Mm.
of course, if you play like 6 days or 5 days in a small age
Yeah.
of tennis, you cannot do like 2 3 days of football. Then
Yeah.
it becomes
Yeah.
Too much.
mess, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. You will end up having just a good time, but it's hard to become great.
No, yeah, I think they were saying, I think, the right thing. One sport, but you do it good.
Mhm.
So I choose
Well,
tennis.
it worked for you, so
No, yeah,
nice.
totally worth it was.
Cool.
One-handed backhand since the very beginning.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, at the beginning, I was, when like there was like a really high ball, I was helping me with the left one, but I always play I always played a lot of slice,
Mhm.
a lot of slice, which in the year when I was younger, I used to play with more a continental
Mhm.
grip, because I was playing a lot of slice, and during the year I try, to turn it more, to try to, to have a little bit more spin, especially now. And but before I was playing a lot of drop shot, like too many that Simone for a year, he forced me to don't play any drop shots.
Whoa. Did he succeed or no?
Yeah, because it was like mandatory for me not to play drop shots, and especially in practice.
Mm.
and yeah, but no, yeah, because I really like a drop shot, and then the guy was coming, and then well, I always
I know,
always
man.
like.
Yeah, I try to do the same. I'm just not good, but yeah.
No, unfortunately, I had good hands from the beginning, so I was using a lot of that, and sometimes I was not moving my feet because I could play with the hand, and yeah, but something that now you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like I feel men's or boys play way more on court. Like they use a bit more everything, and they like to play and give it a try to like drop shot, lobs, and
You have to take her on a drop shots lesson. I'm always telling her like,
no, you will love how bad I am doing drop shot. And sometimes once in a while, there is one nice one coming, and I'm so proud of myself.
No, but you have good hands. You play really well at the net.
Yeah, but sometimes the drop shot they are like 1 meter too short or 1 meter too.
No, I think it's also like, for example, the drop shot. I think it's a tricky shot because if you do it in the right moment, then it's a perfect decision.
yeah.
But then even if you do it good, but in a wrong moment, the other one could take it, and it could be a disadvantage for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I have to say that in my game, especially on clay, I'm using that a lot. But like, for example, also Carlos,
Yeah.
Jannik now started, to do it more. And I think, to break the rhythm, also the slice, it's really helpful in these modern days. The thing is that now the ball is going really, really fast, and I think it became more difficult to put these solutions in the game during the match, because it goes really fast, the balls.
So you don't have time to prepare on how the good shot to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you have to create the right occasion, to use it. And now also that I think also the ability, to the players, the speed of the players, also on reaching the ball, on reading the game, everything improved, I think.
I mean, now in the men's, it's hard to do a drop shot winner unless the guy is like on the other side or.
No, yeah, especially with guys that they really go fast, that really are going fast, like I don't know, Demina or Carlos, but even Nole, that he reads the game really well. He knows how to deal with that. But yeah, men's it's tough, but
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I like it.
yeah.
It was good. What is your goal for this end of the season?
The master is the goal. I feel like after the clay season that I had, that's the right goal to the right ambition to have all the rest of the season. We're still long the season, so we have plenty of points that they are running, and definitely it would be really a dream to play in front of my home crowd in Turin, and that would be really nice, really nice to go there and to qualify and to becoming, of course, having Jannik already, I think, there. I think it would be really nice also for Italy in terms of hosting a event like this, and having 2 Italians on 8 players is it's great.
Not too bad.
Cool.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I think
Which advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self, I would say to deal better with in a certain situation of my career, to deal better with the pressure. And as I mentioned before, when I sat on the tour for the first time getting results, I think I was not ready to get all these attentions.
Yeah.
And so definitely I would say to my younger self to be ready and try to not to listen to everything that you hear, because not everything is true, and to try to isolate a little bit yourself with your team on the decisions and on the thing that you would like to have on the future. So definitely yes.
that's pretty good.
Very
advice.
good one.
Yeah.
Very good one.
Awesome.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Lorenzo.
Manis,
Grazie
for
mille.
taking the
Thank you.
time.
Really.
Thank you.